Get ready, numismatists and history lovers. Today on Coins Numismatic Series, we're diving deep into two of the most fascinating Lincoln penny 1-cent coins ever minted. The legendary 1969 D. Lincoln penny 1-cent coin and the intriguing 1971 Lincoln penny 1-cent coin. These coins are shrouded in mystery, rarity, and value that can surprise even the most seasoned collectors. Whether you're here for the surprising mint errors, the riveting backstories, or the astonishing prices these pennies command, this episode is going to blow your mind. Stay tuned because we're uncovering history worth holding in your hand. 1969 D. Lincoln penny 1-cent coin. When collectors speak the word rare in the world of Lincoln cents, one of the first coins that comes to mind is the 1969 D. Lincoln penny 1-cent coin. A coin is legendary for its rarity as it is for the controversy surrounding its numbers. The story of this coin weaves together America's cultural reverence for Abraham Lincoln, the evolution of the penny itself, mint operations during the late 1960s, and the fevered excitement of collectors chasing one of the holy grails in numismatics. The Lincoln Cent series was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln Cent was revolutionary, being the first regularly circulated U.S. coin to feature a president's portrait. By the mid-20th century, the Lincoln Cent had become a staple of American everyday commerce. As familiar as shaking someone's hand or hearing the chime of a cash register, by 1969, the United States had been producing Lincoln Cents for 6 decades. The design was unchanged except for slight modifications in relief and minting details, and the coin had long been produced in large quantities. That's what makes the 1969 Lincoln Cent so interesting. All other 1969 strikes are common, but the 1969 D penny is a different beast, especially those with certain die varieties and strike characteristics. The D mint mark, of course, stands for the Denver Mint, one of the U.S. Mint's key branches responsible for producing pennies and other coins. In 1969, the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of Lincoln pennies. Official mintage figures show that over 1.5 billion Lincoln Cents were produced at Denver that year. On the surface, a coin with such a large mintage should be anything but rare. But here's where things get fascinating. Among the 1969 D. Lincoln pennies, there exists a highly coveted die variety known as the 1969 D double die obverse. In numismatic terms, a double die refers to a die that received a double impression during the hubbing process, causing design elements, usually letters, dates, and other features, to appear doubled on the coin struck from that die. In the case of the 1969 D double die, the doubling is most apparent on the inscriptions Liberty, the date 1969, and In God We Trust. What makes this variety exceptional is its rarity. While exact numbers are not definitively known, numismatists estimate that far fewer than 100 of these double die specimens have surfaced, and perhaps only a few were actually struck. The rarity is not just a result of how few were produced. It's also due to how few have been discovered and authenticated. The story of the discovery of the 1969 D double die is itself a page-turner in numismatic lore. In the 1970s and early 1980s, collectors began noticing unusual doubling on 1969 D pennies in circulation and submitted them to grading services for authentication. Major grading companies like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, eventually authenticated and certified only a small handful of these doubles. Because of the coin's scarcity, its market value is extraordinary. Even coins with lower grades, for example, those graded MS-60, Mint State 60, can command prices in the tens of thousands of dollars. Higher grade examples escalate dramatically in value. A 1969 D double die certified at MS-65 or above can fetch well into 6 figures or more at auction. Records show that some specimens have crossed the $1 million threshold when particularly high grade and desirability intersect. Beyond the double die variety, standard 1969 D Lincoln pennies are, of course, common and not especially valuable. But even those can be interesting for collectors who appreciate die varieties, striking quality, and zinc-plated steel versus bronze compositions that span the decade. It's the exceptional double die example that captures the imagination. The historical context of this coin also plays into its appeal. The late 1960s were tumultuous in the United States, with societal transformation, political daring, and upheavals that would shape the nation for generations. In that world, a humble 1-cent coin became an object of intense interest because of a minting anomaly that challenges collectors to find and authenticate history in their pocket change. Collectors pursuing the 1969 double die must be meticulous. The doubling itself can be subtle, and there are other double dies from 1969, such as Philadelphia and San Francisco mint double dies, but it is the Denver variety that is the most valuable and elusive. Authentication by reputable grading services is essential, and even then, the process can involve detailed scrutiny of letter forms, spacing, and doubling patterns that only experienced numismatists can confidently identify. The market for this coin is also shaped by trends in collectible coin prices. Rare coins often serve as alternative investments as much as historical artifacts. The 1969 double die has shown remarkable resiliency in value over decades, and the almost mythic status it enjoys in numismatic circles only enhances collector demand in terms of design features. The coin itself carries the classic Lincoln obverse, Abraham Lincoln's right-facing portrait, the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1969, with the D mint mark beneath the date. The reverse design features the Lincoln Memorial, an element introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The Lincoln Memorial image remains detailed, and for many collectors the clarity of the memorial's steps and columns is a secondary factor in grading the coin's strike quality. Errors beyond the famed double die variety also attract interest, including off-center strikes, die cracks, and planchet defects. However, none rival the double die in collector demand or market value. The long story of the 1969 Lincoln penny is one of discovery, rarity, controversy, and enduring fascination. It's a coin that has inspired books, collector hunts, and endless online forums dedicated to spotting the subtle yet unmistakable doubled letters that set these few extraordinary pieces apart from the billions of ordinary cents Americans used every day. 1971 Lincoln penny 1-cent coin. Now, let's turn our attention to the 1971 Lincoln penny 1-cent coin, a coin that at first glance seems humble and unassuming, yet holds deep appeal when we explore its history, design nuances, minting context, and places in collector interest and valuation. Just as the Lincoln cent evolved from its introduction in 1909, each decade added its own unique chapters to the story. By 1971, the Lincoln penny had been in continuous circulation for more than 6 decades, a symbol of American resilience and everyday commerce. While not as dramatic in numismatic lore as the 1969 double die, the 1971 penny still has aspects that draw attention from collectors. The historical backdrop of 1971 was a time of change and adjustment. The United States was facing economic challenges, with inflation and shifts in monetary policy influencing coin production. In that era, Lincoln cents continued to be struck in vast quantities, yet subtle shifts in composition, minting practices, and collector attention brought new facets of interest to these common coins. The 1971 Lincoln penny was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark. Each mint's output reflected different production priorities. Philadelphia and Denver primarily supplied circulation coins, while San Francisco produced coins that often went into proof sets or collector's packages. Design features of the 1971 cent remained true to the classic Lincoln motif. The obverse portraying Abraham Lincoln in profile, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1971. The reverse carries the Lincoln Memorial, continuing the design introduced in 1959 that would remain until 2008. One of the primary aspects collectors examine in the 1971 cents involves striking quality and die variations. While the 1971 series does not have a documented double die as famous as the 1969 double die, there are still minor die varieties and errors that draw interest. These can include subtle doubling in letters or numerals, repunched mint marks, and die cracks. While these varieties rarely bring the astronomical prices of the 1969 D-double die, they represent important study areas for dedicated collectors and those who specialize in Lincoln cent die varieties. A notable aspect of the 1971 cent series is that it came at a time when the U.S. Mint was balancing mass production with quality control pressures. The large-scale production of pennies often meant that exacting die maintenance was difficult, and worn or damaged dies could introduce slight variations into coins being struck. Some collectors prize examples with particularly crisp details, while others chase coins with interesting die characteristics. When it comes to mintage figures, the Philadelphia and Denver mint facilities produced hundreds of millions of 1971 Lincoln pennies. Specifically, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 1.5 billion coins, and Denver's output was similarly enormous. The San Francisco Mint's numbers were significantly lower, especially for proof coins, which makes certain 1971 proof Lincoln cents more desirable than their circulation counterparts. Market values for the 1971 Lincoln penny vary widely based on mint mark, condition, and whether the coin has special characteristics. Ordinary circulated 1971 pennies are quite common and usually have nominal value, often worth face value to a couple dollars for well-preserved specimens. However, when a 1971 penny carries particularly sharp strike details, is in uncirculated condition, or has a collector-worthy designation, its value increases. Examples certified at high mint state grades, such as MS-65 and above, can bring noticeably higher prices. In the numismatic market, coins in pristine condition, free of wear, blemishes, or handling marks, are always more sought after. For 1971 cents, a gem-quality MS-66 or MS-67 could sell for several $100s or more, depending on eye appeal and grading company certification. San Francisco proof examples, particularly those graded at high quality, also draw collector attention. Proof coins are struck with specially prepared dies and highly polished planchets, resulting in a finish that distinguishes them from circulation strikes. A 1971 proof penny in top grades can command prices that outstrip ordinary strikes, a testament to collectors who focus on complete proof sets or specialty issues. Errors in the 1971 series are also of interest. Off-center strikes, double strikes, clipped planchets, and other mint anomalies can impact value. Coins with dramatic errors often attract more attention and higher prices because they represent unusual minting events that break from the norm of mass production. A particularly interesting subset of 1971 cents involves die doubling. While no double die reaches the notoriety of the 1969 D example, certain double die pairs from 1971 have been documented and are recognized by major grading and attribution services. These varieties may involve doubling on Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or the date. For advanced collectors specializing in Lincoln cent die varieties, identifying and confirming a significant 1971 double die adds depth to a collection and can carry noteworthy value. Collector interest in 1971 Lincoln pennies is fueled by the cent's connection to everyday American life, a coin passed from hand to hand, pocket to pocket, for decades. Many collectors recall finding these coins in circulation when they were young, which adds sentimental value. Combined with the numismatic pursuit of high grades, recognized varieties, and historical context, the 1971 penny holds a unique place in the Lincoln cent narrative. Another factor influencing interest in the 1971 Lincoln penny is the broader landscape of U.S. coin collecting. Many hobbyists begin their journey with Lincoln cents because they are affordable and ubiquitous. As collectors gain experience, they often seek out coins with interesting attributes, including condition rarities, die varieties, and unique error strikes. The 1971 series offers entry points into all of these strands of numismatic passion. Despite not having a single standout rarity on the scale of the 1969 D-double die, the 1971 Lincoln penny exemplifies how even common coins can be poignant subjects of historical and collector interest. The coin bridges everyday currency and collectible artifact, a tiny piece of metal imbued with 150 years of American history, design, and cultural presence to eye in the world of numismatics. The 1971 cent reminds us that the value of a coin isn't just in its price tag. It's in the story it tells, the history it carries, and the joy collectors feel when they hold a piece of the past in their hand.